It's 2 in the morning. You're staring at your bedroom ceiling in Cleveland, scrolling through Instagram, watching everyone else live the life you keep promising yourself you'll start building tomorrow. Your alarm is set for 6. You've got that same job you've been complaining about for 3 years, that relationship that feels more like a habit than a choice, that gym membership you haven't used since February. And somewhere deep in your chest, there's this question that won't let you sleep. Is this really it? Is this all my life is ever going to be? Here's the truth nobody wants to say out loud. You're not lazy. You're not broken. You're just trapped in a system you never consciously chose. But what if I told you that 6 months from today, you could be looking at a completely different life? Not through some magical thinking or overnight success, but through 6 specific habits that actually work. That's exactly what Transform Your Life in 6 Months promises and delivers. Let's break down how. Direct answer: what this book really teaches. So what is this book actually about? Transform Your Life in 6 Months is a practical blueprint for complete personal reinvention. It teaches you how to rebuild your identity, energy, relationships, and skills through 6 core habits that compound over time. Instead of vague motivation, it gives you a week-by-week system to break free from patterns that keep you stuck, focusing on small daily actions that create massive results. The book's central premise is simple. You don't need years to change your life. You just need the right system executed consistently for half a year. It's designed for people who've tried everything else and are ready for a structured, no-nonsense approach to becoming the person they know they're capable of being. Now, let me show you exactly how these 6 habits work, using real stories from real people who use them to completely transform their lives. Chapter 1. The Identity Shift. Meet Sarah. She's a 32-year-old high school teacher in Austin, Texas. Every morning, she'd introduce herself the same way. I'm Sarah. I teach English. I'm trying to lose weight, trying to write a novel, trying to get my life together. Notice the pattern? Trying. Always trying, never being. One Tuesday afternoon, after another failed attempt to start her morning routine, Sarah broke down in her car in the school parking lot. She'd bought her 5th self-help book that month. She'd set her 17th fresh start alarm. And she realized something terrifying. She'd been trying to change for 7 years without actually changing anything. The book asks a brutal question right at the start. What if your problem isn't your habits? It's your identity. Here's what most people get wrong about transformation. They think it goes like this. I'll change my actions, then I'll get results, then I'll become a different person. But that's backward. The book reveals that lasting change flows the opposite direction. Identity first, then behavior, then results. Think about a smoker who tries to quit, will always be at war with themselves. But someone who says, I'm not a smoker, has already won. It's not about willpower, it's about who you believe you are at your core. The identity shift habit is simple but radical. Before you change what you do, you change who you are. You stop saying, I'm trying to be healthy, and start saying, I'm a healthy person who's rebuilding their fitness. You stop saying, I want to be a writer, and start saying, I'm a writer who's developing their craft. This isn't positive thinking fluff. This is about rewiring the operating system that runs your decisions. The application. Here's what you do today, right now. Step 1. Write down 3 identities you want to claim. Not goals, not wishes, identities. For example, I am a morning person. I'm someone who finishes what they start. I am financially disciplined. Step 2. For the next 7 days, every time you make a decision, ask yourself, what would this version of me do? If you're someone who values their health, what would they order for lunch? If you're someone who finishes what they start, would they scroll TikTok or work on that project? The magic happens when your brain starts collecting evidence that this identity is true. Every small choice that aligns becomes proof, and humans are wired to act consistent with who we believe we are. The takeaway: your identity is not your past, it's your decision. The person you've been is not the person you have to stay. When you shift from trying to change to being changed, everything gets easier because you're no longer fighting yourself. You're finally aligned. What's one identity you need to claim today to break free from where you're stuck? Drop it in the comments. Let's speak these new versions of ourselves into existence together. Chapter 2: The Morning Anchor. Let me tell you about Marcus. He's a freelance graphic designer in Portland, Oregon. For 5 years, his mornings looked identical. Hit snooze 3 times, stumble to the coffee machine, scroll his phone in bed for 45 minutes, then feel guilty, promise tomorrow would be different. By 9 a.m., he'd already lost the day. Marcus had read all the books. He knew about miracle mornings and 5 a.m. clubs. He'd tried cold showers, meditation apps, elaborate routines. They'd last 3 days, maybe a week. Then life would happen, a late project deadline, a bad night's sleep, a morning he just didn't feel like it, and he'd be back to square one. What Marcus didn't understand was that he was approaching mornings all wrong. He was trying to build a routine, but what he needed was an anchor. The book makes a critical distinction that changes everything. A routine is a series of actions you have to remember to do. An anchor is a single non-negotiable action that pulls everything else into place. Think about a ship's anchor. It's not trying to control the entire ocean. It's just holding one solid point, and that point keeps the whole ship stable no matter what the waves do. Your morning anchor is the one thing you do before you do anything else. No phone, no coffee, not checking email, just this one thing. And it's not about being productive. It's about winning the first decision of the day. A few minutes of breathing, making their bed with intention, writing 3 things they're grateful for. The power isn't in what the anchor is. The power is that you do it first every single day, no matter what. When Marcus finally implemented this, his anchor was making his bed while saying out loud, "Today I'm in control." Took 90 seconds. Within 6 weeks, that tiny anchor had pulled his entire life into alignment. Why? Because he started every day with a win, and winners keep winning. The takeaway: you don't need a perfect morning routine. You need one anchor that reminds you who you're becoming. The battle for your day is won or lost in the first 5 minutes after you wake up. Win that, and you've already beaten the version of yourself who stays stuck.
Her perfect for it. The takeaway: you don't need to be the best. You need to be the only one who does what you do. Stop waiting for permission, credentials, or perfection. Start stacking skills that make you irreplaceable. In 6 months, you can build a combination of abilities that completely changes your market value and your options. If you could be known for 3 skills that work together, what would they be? Comment your dream skill stack below. Let's inspire each other with what's possible. Chapter 6: The Weekly Reset Ritual. Meet James. He's a 35-year-old restaurant manager in Seattle, Washington. He'd start every month with incredible energy and big plans. New workout routine, new budget, new goals. Week 1 was always fire. By week 2, things would slip. By week 3, he was back to old habits. By week 4, he'd given up completely and was already planning his fresh start for next month. James had the vision. He had the motivation. What he didn't have was a system to stay on track when life got chaotic. And life always got chaotic. The turning point came when James realized he'd been starting over for 4 years straight without actually moving forward. He had momentum for 7 days, then lost it for 21. He was exhausted from constantly beginning again. Then he implemented the weekly reset ritual, and everything changed. Here's the truth about transformation that nobody talks about. Motivation fades. Discipline is exhausting. What actually works is a system that catches you before you fall off track. The weekly reset ritual is a 60 to 90-minute block every Sunday evening, or whatever day works for you, where you pause, review, recalibrate, and recommit. It's not about perfection, it's about course correction. The book structures the ritual into 6 reflection questions. Wins: what went well this week? What am I proud of? Celebrate progress, no matter how small. Lessons: what didn't go as planned? What can I learn from it? No judgment, just data. Energy check: what drained me? What energized me? Course correct before burnout hits. Priorities: what are my top 3 focuses for next week? Not 10 things, 3. Preparation: what can I set up now to make next week easier? Meal prep, lay out gym clothes, schedule the hard stuff. Identity anchor: who am I becoming? What evidence did I create this week that this is true? This isn't a productivity hack. It's a recalibration practice that keeps you aligned with who you're becoming instead of drifting back to who you were. The application: here's how to start your weekly reset. Step 1. Block 90 minutes on your calendar every Sunday evening. Treat it like a doctor's appointment, non-negotiable. Step 2. Create a simple template with those 6 questions. Keep it in a notebook or a notes app. Same questions every week. The consistency is what builds the clarity. Step 3. End every reset by writing 1 sentence. Next week, I'm committed to. Make it specific, actionable, aligned with your 6-month vision. James started doing his reset every Sunday at 7 p.m. He'd light a candle, make tea, and go through the 6 questions. Some weeks he'd realize he'd overcommitted and needed to scale back. Other weeks he'd see patterns, like how he always fell off his workout routine on Thursdays when he worked doubles, and he'd plan around it. The magic wasn't that James became perfect. The magic was that he stopped drifting. Every week he'd catch himself, realign, and move forward. Over 6 months, that added up to transformation. You don't fail because you're not strong enough. You fail because you don't have a system to catch yourself when you slip. The weekly reset ritual is that system. It keeps you honest, keeps you aligned, and keeps you moving forward, even when life gets messy. Consistency isn't about never falling, it's about never staying down. When's the last time you actually paused to review your week instead of just surviving it? If you committed to 1 weekly reset this Sunday, what would you discover? Let me know in the comments if you're going to try this. Frequently asked questions. Top questions answered. Question 1. How do I stay consistent when I've failed so many times before? Here's the real answer. You stay consistent by lowering the bar so far that failure is nearly impossible, and then you build from there. Most people fail because they set massive goals that require perfect conditions. They say, "I'm going to work out for an hour every day," and then, when they miss one day, they collapse entirely. The book teaches you to use the 2-minute rule for habit building. Your goal isn't to work out for an hour. Your goal is to put on your gym shoes. That's it. Once the shoes are on, you'll probably go. But even if you don't, you still succeeded at your commitment. This removes the all-or-nothing thinking that destroys consistency. You're building the identity of someone who keeps promises to themselves, even tiny ones. After a month of 2-minute commitments, you naturally expand because the habit is now part of who you are. Consistency isn't about willpower. It's about designing commitments so small that your future self can't talk you out of them. Question 2. What if the people in my life don't support my transformation? This is one of the hardest parts of change, and the book is brutally honest about it. Some people won't support your growth because your growth threatens their comfort. When you start changing, you hold up a mirror to everyone around you, and not everyone wants to see their own stagnation reflected back at them. You have 3 options. First, have honest conversations. Tell the people you care about what you're working toward and why it matters. Some will rise to support you. Second, create boundaries without apologies. You don't need permission to outgrow a version of yourself that wasn't serving you. You can love people from a distance while you build your new life. Third, find new community. Join groups, online forums, or local meetups where people are on the same growth journey. You need witnesses to your transformation, people who understand what you're building. The book emphasizes that loneliness during transformation is temporary, but staying stuck with people who limit you is permanent. Choose temporary discomfort over permanent regret. Question 3. Can I really transform in just 6 months, or is this unrealistic? 6 months is both shorter and longer than you think. It's not enough time to become a completely different person, but it's more than enough time to become unrecognizable to your past self. Think about it mathematically. If you improve just 1% every single day for 6 months, you're not 6% better, you're exponentially better, because growth compounds. The key is understanding what transformation actually means. It's not about achieving every goal. It's about proving to yourself that you're capable of sustained change. After 6 months of keeping small commitments to yourself, you have built a habit of consistency that is your new default. Your end game in 6 months isn't to achieve some arbitrary percentage. It's to have proven to yourself that you can trust yourself to follow through on any goal.
Promises to yourself, your confidence is rebuilt, your habits are established, your energy is protected, your relationships are aligned, your skills are stacking, and your weekly resets keep you on course. That's not an ending, it's a launch pad. The 6 months isn't about reaching a destination. It's about becoming someone who knows how to navigate toward any destination they choose. Question 4. What if I don't know what I want my life to look like? This is more common than you think, and the book addresses it directly. You don't need to have your entire life figured out before you start transforming. In fact, trying to plan everything is often just another form of procrastination. What you need is directional clarity, not destination certainty. Start with what you know you don't want. Most people are clearer about what they're running from than what they're running toward, and that's enough to begin. If you know you don't want to feel exhausted all the time, start with the energy audit. If you know you don't want to feel stuck in the same place in 5 years, start with the skill stack. The book teaches that clarity comes from action, not the other way around. As you build these 6 habits, you'll naturally discover what lights you up, what drains you, and what kind of life actually fits who you're becoming. You don't need a perfect vision. You just need to start moving in a better direction. The path reveals itself to people who are walking, not people who are waiting for a map. Conclusion: your 6-month blueprint. So here we are. You've got the 6 habits laid out in front of you, like a roadmap out of wherever you're feeling stuck. The identity shift that reminds you that you're not trying to change, you're deciding who you already are. The morning anchor that proves every single day that you're in control of your life, not your impulses. The energy audit that protects your most valuable resource so you actually have the fuel to show up for your transformation. The relationship detox that surrounds you with people who lift you instead of limit you. The skill stack strategy that makes you uniquely valuable in a world that rewards rare combinations. And the weekly reset ritual that keeps you on course when life tries to pull you off track. 6 habits, 6 months, 1 completely different life. But here's what I need you to understand. This book, this video, these strategies, none of it matters if you don't make a decision right now. Not tomorrow, not next Monday when you're ready, right now. Because here's the truth that nobody wants to hear. You've been waiting for the perfect moment to start changing your life. The perfect time when you're less busy, less stressed, less scared. But that moment doesn't exist. The only moment you've got is this one. 6 months from now, you're going to arrive at April 2026, whether you start today or not. The only question is, who are you going to be when you get there? The same person, still making the same promises to yourself that you'll start next week? Or someone who looks back at this moment and says, that's when everything changed? Think about the version of you 6 months from now. The one who actually did this, who claimed a new identity and lived into it every single day, who anchored their mornings and protected their energy, who had the hard conversations and built new relationships with people going where they want to go, who stacked skills that opened doors they didn't even know existed, who showed up every Sunday evening to recalibrate and recommit. That version of you isn't some fantasy. They're a decision, and every single day you delay is a day you're choosing not to become them. I know you're scared. I know you failed before. I know you're tired of starting over. But what if this time is different? Not because the strategies are different, because you are. Because this time, you're not trying to change, you're deciding to change. You're not hoping for motivation, you're building systems. You're not wishing for a better life, you're constructing one, brick by brick, day by day. Look, I can't do this for you. Nobody can. But what I can do is stand here and tell you that it's possible. That people who were more stuck than you, more tired than you, more broken than you, have used these exact 6 habits to build lives they never thought they deserved. You deserve that too. You deserve to wake up 6 months from now and not recognize the person you used to be. You deserve to finally keep a promise to yourself. You deserve a life that doesn't feel like you're just surviving until the weekend.
So here's what you're going to do. You're going to pick one habit, just one, and you're going to start it today. Not perfectly, not with a grand plan, you're just going to start. Maybe you write down your new identity on a sticky note and put it on your mirror. Maybe you choose your morning anchor and set your alarm 5 minutes earlier tomorrow. Maybe you open your Notes app and start your first energy audit. Maybe you text that one person who always lifts you up and tell them you need their support. Maybe you pick the first skill you want to learn and watch one YouTube video about it tonight. Just pick one. Start small. Start messy, but start. And then I need you to do something else. I need you to hit that like button, not for me, but as a commitment to yourself. Let that click be your declaration that you're done waiting. Subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications because we're going to keep breaking down the books, the strategies, and the systems that actually work. We're building a community of people who are done talking about change and ready to become it. Drop a comment below telling me which habit you're starting with. I'm reading every single one. And when you're standing in April 2026 looking at a completely transformed life, I want you to come back to this video and leave another comment telling future viewers that this was the moment everything shifted for you. You've got 6 months. You've got 6 habits. You've got everything you need except the decision. So make it right now. Choose the person you're becoming. Choose the life you're building. Choose to start. Because 5 years from now, you're either going to wish you started today or you're going to be grateful that you did. There's no third option. The next 6 months are going to pass anyway. Make them count. Let's transform together. Alternate ending. Listen. I know what it's like to be standing where you are right now, staring at your life and wondering if you missed your chance, if it's too late, if you're too old, too tired, too far behind to ever catch up. I know what it's like to make promises to yourself in January that you break by February, to set alarms you don't honor, to buy books you don't finish, to start over so many times that the phrase fresh start makes you want to cry because you're exhausted from starting again and again and never getting anywhere.
I know what it's like to watch other people build the life you keep saying you want, while you stay stuck in the same patterns, the same job, the same relationship with yourself that feels more like a prison than a partnership. But here's what I also know. I know that the fact that you're still here, 33 minutes into this video, means something. It means you haven't given up. It means there's still a part of you, maybe buried, maybe quiet, but still alive, that believes you're capable of more. And that part of you, that's the part that's going to save you. Not this book, not this video, not me. You, the version of you that's been waiting for permission to finally choose yourself. So let me give you that permission right now. You're allowed to want more. You're allowed to outgrow who you've been. You're allowed to start over as many times as it takes. You're allowed to be a different person 6 months from now than you are today. You don't have to carry the weight of all your past failures into your future. You don't have to be defined by the person you were when you were surviving instead of living. You don't have to stay small because other people are comfortable with your limitations. You get to choose. Today, right now, in this moment. The life you want is on the other side of 6 months of showing up for yourself. Not perfectly, not without setbacks, but consistently, daily, with these 6 habits as your foundation. The identity shift that says, I'm not who I was, I'm who I'm becoming. the morning anchor that proves every sunrise that you're worth fighting for. The energy audit that protects the precious fuel you need to build your dreams. The relationship detox that surrounds you with people who see your potential and celebrate your growth. The skill stack that makes you so uniquely valuable that opportunities find you. The weekly reset that catches you when you stumble and sets you back on your path. 6 months. That's all. Just half a year of choosing yourself over comfort, of choosing growth over staying the same, of choosing the person you know you can be over the person everyone expects you to stay. Your future self is already out there, waiting for you. They're 6 months ahead, looking back at this moment, begging you to start. They're grateful, they're proud, they're unrecognizable, and they're only possible if you decide right now that you're done waiting. So here's my challenge to you. Close this video and do one thing, just one, right now, before your doubt creeps back in, before your fear tells you tomorrow is better, before you let this moment slip away like all the other moments you promised yourself you'd change. Choose your identity, set your anchor, start your audit, make that call, pick that skill, plan that reset, and then come back here and tell me you did it. Because when you speak it into existence, when you make it public, when you commit in front of witnesses, it becomes real. We're all here, watching, waiting, ready to cheer you on, ready to hold you accountable, ready to be the community that lifts you when you want to quit. You're not alone in this. You never were. You just forgot that transformation isn't a solo journey. It's a collective rising, and we rise together. So like this video, subscribe, turn on those notifications, comment your commitment, and let's meet back here in 6 months to celebrate who you've become. The next 6 months will pass whether you change or not. Make them matter. Make them count. Make them the beginning of the story you'll tell for the rest of your life about the day you finally chose yourself. You've got this. I believe in you. And more importantly, it's time you believe in you too. Let's transform together, starting right now.